it's just Martine, and welcome to week 3 of REALMATHON. I'll put my last REALMATHON vlog there so you can get all the information you want. But now it's time for week 3, and I'm ironically going to start by telling you about a book that I forgot to tell you about on Sunday before I ended off my week 2 vlog. I read it all between Saturday and Sunday, so it's fine to put it here. And it's ironic because it's called Forget Me Not. So there's that. It's like a 3-hour audiobook because it's told entirely in verse. It's like a middle grade, it felt like, from what I was reading. So it was like a middle grade in verse about this girl who has Tourette's, who's moving to a new school. Unfortunately, I gave it 3 stars. It didn't work for me as well as some other books in verse have, or some other books about mental health. I really hated the main character's mom because she kept telling the main character to hide her Tourette's. And if you know literally anything about Tourette's, you know that that makes it worse. Also, I felt like there were some things that were addressed in the book that were mental health that are separate from Tourette's, so not Tourette's, but Tourette's was the only label she ever used, and so it might confuse some young readers and they might think that that's part of Tourette's when it's not. So in specific, she appeared to have trichotillomania, I think is how you say it. It's a hair pulling disorder, and she very much had like every characteristic of that. And then she had some like OCD tendencies about like she would have intrusive obsessive thoughts and have specific compulsions that went with them. Sometimes it's fed into her tics and Tourette's, but sometimes they were completely separate. So I thought that was a lost opportunity for like a discussion about all those things that were happening. Like it was just addressed as the one disorder, even though there were like separate things going on. But overall, it was an easy, quick read. So no harm, no foul. But I have to decide what prompts I'm using it for. All right, I figured it out. I'm going to use it. Can you hear that? Either way, I'm going to use it to increase points for Serane, so I'm using the prompt, make a technological advancement, read an audiobook or an ebook, because I listened to it on audiobook, make an alliance, a book with romance. There was a brief romance in there, even though it was a middle grade. Build a school, YA or middle grade book, increase your population, book with a parent-child relationship, and then medic training has mental health rep or healing themes. So plus 8 points for Serane, which is not much, but for such a short book is, you know, it's not nothing. Now that I've caught you up on what I forgot to tell you about last week, let's get into reading for this week, shall we? I've got some quick points updates because I finished 2 books today that I've been working on. So first is this book. I don't really want to talk about it, but I'm using it for Mind Games, a psychological thriller and war veteran, a book that's been on your TBR for a really long time. Yeah, a TBR veteran. I'll probably take these measly 4 points from Calamus because they could use with doing, getting knocked down a peg. But then I read Man's Search for Meaning and my post-it note with all my information flew away, so like this one a lot better. I gave this book 4 stars, so not the 5 that I was hoping to give it, but I think it has some 5-star worthy ideas, obviously. I'm just not sure it caught me in exactly the right moment. I'll definitely keep this in my collection. I mean, I think this is a beautiful edition that I managed to snag for free, and I'll definitely reread, if not all of it, then sections of it in the future because I think it's got some really powerful ideas. For the prompts that I'm reading it for, I'm reading it to count as listen to your elders, read a nonfiction, put up a monument, read a classic, supply run, a book with an author from a country different than yours, medic training has mental health rep or healing themes, and build a library, a book someone has been nagging you to read. So many people have told me to read this. My therapist has told me to read this multiple times. She's been like, have you read this? Have you read this? Have you read this? You should read this. Okay, that counts. My abnormal psych teacher recommended it a few weeks ago in class. My mom, when she found out that I'd gotten my hands on it, said that I needed to read it as soon as possible, that I'd love it. I did love it. It was great. In case you don't know, this is the story of this psychiatrist from Vienna, Viktor Frankl, who spends a few years in the concentration camps during World War II and loses his family that way too. So it's both his testimony from his time within the concentration camps and then also his discussions of his specific type of psychotherapy that he invented called logotherapy, which is about the meaning of life. And this edition also had like some of his letters and speeches, and the end papers have like great pictures of him. So I'll definitely cherish this, keep it in my collection, and I'm glad it earned me some good points for Team Serane. And then also, I just wanted to touch on the fact that I was putting off watching the second half of season 8 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine for like months because I couldn't bring myself to admit like it was going to end, but I finally did it tonight. The last episode was like the most perfect thing ever created. It was so good. We all know I love a heist. It was so good. Okay, but that's my reading and life update. On this lovely Friday morning, I have some points to give you. It's only 6 points, but I did yesterday finish reading The Grifter's Daughter, and for that, I'm giving points to Serane with the following prompts: train new first years, an author new to you, make a technological advancement, an audiobook or ebook. I read it on ebook, so there's that. Grow crops, a book that has green on the cover. Her sunglasses had green in them, so I'm counting it. And then increase your population, a book with a parent-child relationship. It's literally called The Grifter's Daughter, so there was some of that. Plus 6 points. On to the next one. This just in. Alright, so this afternoon, my friend and I went to a used bookstore that she thought I was gonna really love, and she was totally right. And I got some books, and I haven't looked at them since I checked out at the place, so I'm gonna show them to you now and see if I have any buyer's remorse. I forget a lot of what I have in here, so I'm just gonna pick stuff out. So the first book I have is Memoirs of a Geisha, and that's because on Goodreads the other day, one of my Goodreads friends added me to a read-through group for this and invited me to join along for next month. So when I saw it and it was like $1, I was like, sure. So I'll probably be reading this next month, I guess. It's got a soon to be a major motion picture sticker on it, so I guess it either is going to be or is now a major motion picture, which is interesting. Glad I picked it up. I have Digital Fortress by Dan Brown. A lot of the big like mystery authors, they weren't like jumping out or appealing to me when I was there, but I saw the spine for this, Digital Fortress, and I specifically saw the font of it and also the color green, which is my favorite color. But I saw the font and I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a hacking book. And I love that. And then I read the back. There's an invincible code breaking machine and a code it cannot break. This woman has to help solve that code, and she's the head cryptographer. And I love cryptography in books, so I was like, yeah, gotta read this. So I picked it up. I picked up Breath, Eyes, Memory by Edwidge Danticat. And this is a book about this girl from Haiti who moves to New York to be reunited with her mom. And it just seems super great and really like impactful of a novel. And Oprah decided to read it one time, I guess. So I'm really excited for this Haitian main character. And it just like, the title got me, Breath, Eyes, Memory. So I had to pick it up. Next, this was actually the first book I picked up when I was there. It's called Little Bee by Chris Cleave. I just saw the title and I was like, ooh, like I'll pick it up to read the back. And the back seems exactly up my alley. It says, we don't want to tell you what happens in this book. It is a truly special story and we don't want to spoil it. Nevertheless, you need to know enough to buy it. So we will just say this, that it says like 2 lines about what it's about. It's just about 2 women and a choice they make. And then it says, once you have read it, you'll want to tell your friends about it. When you do, please don't tell them what happens. The magic is in how the story unfolds. So that was really intriguing to me, and it was enough for me to pick it up. Then I have A College of Magix by Caroline Mare. If you've been around here for any length of time, you know that I don't usually love fantasy as a genre, but some of the fantasy books I love the best are set at schools. I love school or training programs, so this is a YA magic book. This is what caught my eye. This review that's partially quoted on the front, but is in full on the back, that says, a large step up in both lyrical language and emotional sweep from Harry Potter. So they smashed Harry Potter and they said this is way better, so I want to see what it's about, and girl power and all that stuff. It's got an intriguing cover and I'm ready. Okay, so this is a sci-fi book called The Light of Other Days by Arthur C. Clarke and Stephen Baxter. It's about this, I guess, dystopian future where you can see one another at all times, so the sudden and complete abolition of human privacy forever. It's a story of grand scientific and philosophical scope, and I love my sci-fi philosophical. So when I saw that, I was like, I really want to read this. So I picked it up. And then last but not least, I got Micro by Michael Crichton and Richard Preston. So this is about men who are found dead with like no sign of a struggle except for really tiny lacerations across their whole body. And it's about these graduate students who are working for a microbiology startup company, and they learn like what's happening. And that seemed fascinating to me, so I definitely wanted to give it a read. I've read one Michael Crichton before, and that was Prey, which was also about tiny little things. This just looked like something that I might enjoy, so I picked it up. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books I got for like 13 bucks, so not too bad, at the used bookstore that my friend and I went to.
And that's really annoying too when I'm reading any or listening to any about audiobooks when they don't, you know, specify the chapters. I get really annoyed by that.
Yay! No, let's get back. I don't like it's about to go down, guys.
I think I just lost the track.
It's Sunday. Today I finished A Girl Called Ruthless, and I'm using it for the following prompts. Train new first years in the academy, read an author new to you, make a technological advance in audiobook or ebook. I read this on ebook. Build a school, a YA or middle grade book. I'm pretty sure this is middle grade. Increase your population, a book with a parent-child relationship or mentor-mentee. Definitely had a parent-child relationship and kind of a mentor-mentee one as well, so whatever. It counts. Medic training has mental health rep or healing themes. That was more like the latter part of the book, but it was definitely like there overall. So plus 8 points for Serane. Also, it's Sunday night, which means this is the end of this vlog. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below what's something that you've read recently, and subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!